Can I tell you a very scary story? Um, this story is from a while ago. It is paranormal, I think. So if that's something that doesn't interest you, because of religious reasons or whatever, that's okay. You can swipe away. If it's the middle of the night and you're terrified, just go ahead and click the save button on whatever side of the screen that it's on and just watch it when it's daylight. Everything I'm about to tell you is true. It happened to me or maybe in my head, but regardless, this is a reality that happened in the city of Los Angeles. So I was young, I think 21 years old, and I wanted to move to Los Angeles to start my career in interior design. And my Thea had a friend that had a two-bedroom apartment with one bedroom that was currently empty, and she needed a roommate. And I said, I'm all for it. And I moved into this beautiful two-bedroom, two-bath historic apartment in Los Feliz. And it's not the best area, but the rent was like $900. I had my own bathroom. I had a parking spot. There was a gym. There was in-building laundry. Like, it was a dream situation for a 22-year-old. My Diaz friend, my roommate, we'll call her A, she was very sweet and nice and so welcoming to me moving into her home and being out on my own for the first time. So I was really riding high in this situation, and I had just gotten out of a really bad relationship. So there was a lot of negativity that I was kind of running away from. But all in all, I felt like good things were coming for me. And I was wrong. Very, very wrong. Living in Los Angeles was the worst time in my life. And yes, it's because it's expensive and the people are kind of shitty sometimes, but also it's because I was being harassed, plagued, haunted, I don't know what you want to call it, by something that sometimes looked like me and sometimes looked like other people I cared about. So, I used to practice witchcraft. I know, red flag there. Did I know what I was doing? Probably not. Do I remember anything? Not really. But I did, cast spells or do ceremonies. I honestly blocked this period of my life out. But I did do those things. Okay, so this is when it started. I was bored and lonely. I had just gotten out of that bad relationship and I wanted a boyfriend. And dating in Los Angeles is hard. And I decided to do a little ritual calling on some deities. And did I know what I was doing? Absolutely the fuck not. So I had just done a spell to invite a man into my life, or that was my intention at least. And my roommate A had a boyfriend already. He was an actor, he was very kind, but they had just gotten into an argument or something like that, and he had left early or something. I don't quite remember the details on that fight as this was years ago. But while I was in the middle of doing that ritual thing, someone started pounding so hard on our front door, and it scared the shit out of me. Mind you, I was home alone. We had no pets, and I was doing something that I didn't really understand, and yeah, I was terrified. So I make my way down the hallway to get to the front door, and I look through the peephole, and of course, our hall light or door light was off. It wasn't working, but all the other lights in the hall were working. And all I could see was the backlit, like, outline of a man holding, it looked like a bouquet of flowers or something. And I was scared, and I said, "Who is it?" And they didn't answer me. And I just felt like I was stuck in this trance, like just watching them. And I was scared, and I texted my roommate, and I was like, "Hey, did your boyfriend come by and try to give you flowers, or is he here right now?" And there's no answer, obviously, and I just, thought I was freaking myself out of my head. Again, zero survival instincts, if we can remember. I love opening my door to people. And I opened my front door. And I had just been looking through the people, and the thing was there. And I opened the door, and all of a sudden, they were gone. There was nothing there, and my hall light was on. So I don't know what that was about, but it terrified me. And I closed the door and I locked it. And boy, that's when everything fucking started. A few days go by. I forgot about it. I think it was just me being paranoid, whatever. And my roommate A and I work two totally opposite schedules. I worked as an interior designer in West Los Angeles, so that was probably about an hour, maybe 45 minutes away. And she worked as a waitress, so she mostly worked night shifts. Leo, no barking. So we were never really home at the same time. It was very rare. We were usually passing each other. So I was home alone a lot. One day I had just gotten home from work and I opened the door, and to the right of my door opening was our kitchen. It was just like a galley style kitchen. And I saw my roommate standing there cooking something. She was standing in front of a stove, and I had walked around and, tried talking to her. I didn't expect her to be home. I said, hi, how are you? No answer. I kind of stood there, waited. She wasn't moving, wasn't cooking or anything. She was just standing there staring at the wall above the stove. And I was like, okay, maybe she has a weird day or something. And I went to the bathroom and I came back out to try to talk to her again, and she wasn't there. And I went and poked my head into her room. The door was open. She was not there. So I sent her a text and said, hey, where'd you go? You were just here. And she said that she had been at work for hours at that point already. Very creepy. A few more days or weeks go by, I'm not exactly sure. And it was a Sunday morning, and I was in bed, and my bedroom door was open. I had just woken up, and I looked from my bed. You could see down the hall into the living room. And I looked down the hall, and my roommate was sitting on the sofa meditating, sitting crisscrossed, and that was a normal thing that she did. And I thought, great, I need to pee, and the bathroom is right there, and I don't want to disturb her. So I got up really quietly, trying not to disturb her practice. I don't know what she was doing. And I went to the bathroom, and then when I came out of the bathroom and I looked, she was gone. And when I came out of the bathroom, she was gone. Again, I texted her and said, hey, where'd you go? Please tell me you're here. I don't want to be fucking crazy. And she texted me back saying that she was actually working the brunch shift and she was not there. So that was fantastic. I had seen her a second time doing something that she would normally do, but she didn't talk to me, she didn't acknowledge me. It was just her person, her shape, just being there. I hadn't seen her shape again, and A moved out to a nice condo with their boyfriend, and I wanted to get a new apartment because I couldn't afford that apartment on my own. So I got a studio apartment in Brentwood, which is where I worked as an interior designer. Now this is when things get absolutely worse. So I couldn't afford much. So it was a studio apartment. It was all one room. It didn't even really have a kitchen. There was no kitchen sink. There was no oven. And I couldn't have the microwave and my coffee maker going at the same time. Otherwise, it would blow the breaker. But it was mine nonetheless, and it was my space. However, there was this weird space. You opened the door and you were in a hallway, and there was another door to your right when you walked in that led into someone else's unit, but it was locked and there was no door handle. Creepy as it is. And there was no door to get into my actual space. I had a front door, but there was no other door in that doorway, if you know what I'm saying. Sorry. Well, in that little doorway area, something decided that it was a good idea to start playing peekaboo with me. Just a black mass standing there, going around the corner like this. Here, I'll show you what that looks like. Just like that. Fucking terrifying. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna need to do a part 2, which I think is ridiculous because I don't like doing that, but it's